Is it working?
Yeah,
Oh,
looks like we're
you are
live.
you are now live. Okay, sweet. Awesome.
Well,
Hi.
hello.
Hi, Facebook world.
Hello,
You you
everybody.
you might notice that Teresa got a facelift. She looks a little
I
different
look a
today.
little different today.
Teresa's playing hooky, so we roped in Olivia Connett on our team to come do a Facebook Live
Hello.
with me. She's
Yep.
gonna endure the special torture that I'm gonna pick on her instead of Teresa. So Olivia's been a
Okay.
part of our team for almost a year now.
Yeah.
Almost a year. And we haven't introduced her. I'm going to let her introduce herself and tell you a little bit about herself. Take it away. It's all you.
Okay. Yeah. Well, time flies when you're having fun. I can't believe it's been almost a year, a really great year. I am a wife and a mother of two and a recovering attorney. Um, I say recovering, I still maintain my license, so there's that.
Right.
I actually got my start in real estate in an interesting way. Um, I started working at Keller Williams headquarters here in Austin. And so working with Gary Keller and learning all that there is to know about what agents do in the field, um, I focused on the franchise piece of it and thought, I love helping people. And so it's such an important time in somebody's life when they're moving or buying their first house or selling a house that they've loved for a really long time. And so those are the things that I am honored to get to do now.
That's great. That's great. So I've asked in the past, we interviewed a couple other agents and asked, why they got in the business. And it sounds like you've answered that already. But the other question was, since you've been in the business, one of your favorite deals that you've ever done, like, and what I mean by deals is people that you've helped, the situation, what was a special occasion, or what was it that really made it like your favorite thing that you've done in this business so far?
Oh, gosh. Um, there's so many. I'm trying to think back. There's so many. I like helping anybody. My
Yeah.
first thought is, oh, I love helping families, but I like helping single people find a super awesome house for themselves. I was going to tell you, I just got a thank you note
That's
from one
great.
of my clients. Um, I found them a house off the market through our realtor network, which runs really deep, especially because having started at KWRI, I
Yep.
made friends with Austin realtors so long ago and have kept up that in, professional and social ways. And so, I saw a Facebook Live of somebody saying, "Hey, this is my listing. I'm so excited about it." And I said, "I'm going to need to see that listing because my clients would love that." And we were in there before the sign went in the yard.
That's
And
great.
so,
Wait, when did this
so
happen? Was this months ago? Was this weeks ago? When did this happen?
no, we closed in April. So this was right at the
Wow.
start of all the fun mask wearing and sanitizing. It was at the start of all of that. And so we're still working. Being
That's
essential
great.
is fun.
That's great. So you helped somebody buy a home that wasn't even on the market right in the middle of all this pandemic stuff going on.
And I'll read you the
That's great.
last part of it. It says,
Okay.
"We greatly appreciate being quarantined here." They love their new house. So that
That's
makes
great.
my heart grow 5 times.
So have you seen that meme that talks about realtors? Like the new question is going to be, can you see yourself being quarantined here?
We joked
Have you seen
about
that?
that
I
during
love
their
that.
home buying process the whole time.
I
And
love that.
so
Can
yes.
you see yourself with your office being here?
Can you
Your
see
new,
yourself working here,
yeah,
cooking here,
yeah.
loving your
That's great.
family here, close
That's
quarters?
great. That's awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that one. And
Yeah.
actually, we've generically shared some stories like that over the last couple of weeks. Teresa and I did about how the market's going and some things that our agents were doing. So now you gave a specific that we kind of talked generally about how homes are still selling off the market. But I think that's a perfect segue into what we're going to talk about next, which is I call the boring stuff. Maybe this is why you're watching our Facebook Live, is to get the update on the market stats and how things are performing. But let me see if I can share my screen here with everybody and give you an opportunity to see some of these numbers. So I'm going to start off with showing you where we have been. So this is provided by another title company. I'm going to
I can't hear you, Chris. Are you still there?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm going to hide you. It looks like it takes the audio
hide me.
off when we do that. I'll hide you real quick. There we go. So it shows the monthly residential closed units year to date. And you'll see the different colored lines. They represent the different years going all the way back to 2016. And you'll see the red line that takes a sharp dip here in April. That's the 2020 numbers. As we're starting off, it looked like we started off at just under 2,500 homes, just over 2,500, just over 3,000 homes sold or closed for the year. And then we took a sharp drop here into April, beginning of May. So it looks like the market just tanked, but what this is really about is about closed units. So we knew that there were going to be homes that came off the market and that weren't going to be selling. So the numbers can be a little bit deceiving here. This is what happened because of the stay-at-home shelter-in-place restrictions. So the number of sales dropped off, but the pricing didn't necessarily do that. So the next thing to show would be, yes, I can. You're going to be up in a few seconds. What'd you say? What do you want to say?
So just looking at that graph, one thing that really stood out to me is at the beginning of the year. So everybody is of course going to look at that noticeable drop.
Yep.
The red line, our 2020 line, was so much higher than those other lines just starting off at the year. And so even with that, us all following our shelter in place and being really respectful of our neighbors and staying home, that drop off, we're still starting from such a higher place.
Yeah.
And so you're looking at that white space between the lines on that graph.
Yeah. I mean, great point. Actually, I want you to talk about the next thing I'm going to show, which it comes from the Texas A&M housing report. Okay. And it breaks it out. You're going to see it here in a second. I'm going to hide myself here in a second and bring this up, but it breaks things out by pricing and shows months of inventory, right? So what you're talking about, I think we're going to show, and feel free to keep talking because I'm going to show this to everybody.
Okay.
But record breaking is what you're talking about.
Yes. Well, and with the way, we were really ramping up for a crazy spring and showing homes for the first time in years. We were waiting in line to show houses. So what I mean is I would pull up with my clients and there would already be someone showing their clients the home and then somebody waiting outside and then us waiting. We're literally waiting in line to go show those homes. So that tells us something about our buyer seller market and the amount of inventory that wasn't on the market starting at the beginning of the year. So even with a low inventory in a seller's market, we're seeing all those closed units and those record breaking numbers. Okay. So
so great example. What you're talking about is being shown. I'm going to hide myself here again in a second, and you can do a breakdown, show these people what we're talking about. The different price points and months of inventory, I think is phenomenal. So I'll let you keep talking. I'm going to hide myself again. I don't have to do this. You can.
I cannot read that. Sorry, my vision, she is not so good. Sorry, you guys can see me really focusing in on this. Well, so besides what the actual numbers are right there, the inventory is low. It traditionally is in our Austin area. So in other words, we have way more buyers than we have people wanting to sell their houses. And it's always been like that. Well, I'm sorry, I say always. in the past few years, it really has been like that. And so we're still seeing that. I think that people are testing the market after we've seen somewhat of an imposed shift here. And so we have low inventory, as we traditionally do in the Austin market. And one thing I will say, though, and is that this is the most crucial time with, Chris called this the boring stuff. Well, this is our job, and this is why you've got to have a really great realtor like the realtors on the OT Group team, because, for example, I am helping some folks buy out in Williamson County, and was questioning the price of the home. And I spoke with the agent and I said, hey, could you show me the other houses that you use to help you price this house? And some of those houses were from January. And now it doesn't seem like January is all that long ago, or maybe it does because we've all been quarantined with our families. Those numbers, that's not this market anymore.
Yeah.
And so just having someone to be sure to look at those details to make sure that all of the boring stuff is being taken into consideration.
Yeah, and I think we talked about this a little bit earlier. It's hard to see on this printout. I might be able to zoom into it here in a minute, but what's important to see is that everything under the 750 price point has less than 2 months of inventory. Once you bump up to 750 or $1 million plus, it starts to turn into like 5-6 months of inventory, which is considered a balanced market. So you have to take that into consideration when you're pricing the home. And you're hearing all this stuff about our market, how well it's performing. You still want to pay attention to your neighborhood and to the pricing that you're in the area. And in Travis County, $1 million plus, there's 5 months of inventory. That's considered a balanced market or really close to it. It's still a little bit of a seller's market, but that means it would take 5 months to sell all of the homes that are there. The 750 to $1 million, there's 2.5 months of inventory. The 500,000 to 750, there's 1.6 months of inventory in Travis County. That means that there's still not enough homes for the buyers, right? You hop out to Williamson County and it's very similar, 750 to 1 million, it's 5.5 months of inventory. You do 500 to 750,000, it's 2.2 months of inventory. What does this mean? It means there is a higher supply in those price points than demand. So as a listing agent, you got to keep that in mind when pricing the home. You can overprice a home. As a buyer's agent, like what Olivia was explaining earlier, hey, we're the 5th person in line. Why? Well, this home is at 450 and there's less than 2 months of inventory for a home like that in this area. It's going to go fast. Same thing when pricing it as a listing agent. Like, we got to keep these things in mind. And by the way, this months of inventory that we're talking about, that's current. This isn't back in January, which was 4 months ago now. And prior to COVID, this is right now. So these are numbers that you have to pay attention to when you're pricing a home. We always hear people talking about, well, my neighbor sold at X price. When was that? 3 years ago. Well, that was 3 years ago. The market can be different within 3 weeks and 3 months. So the agent that you're working with, are they doing this?
Well, and not only in your immediate neighborhood, we always talk about how real estate is hyper local. So we have, as Chris was saying, we have more inventory in, there you go. We have more months of inventory in the higher price points. But there are some neighborhoods in Austin where a house that was $1.1 million didn't stay on the market but 3 days. So it was up and down in an instant. And so that's hyper local. That is a highly sought after neighborhood. And so you can't take comfort in the fact that, oh, well, my price point is above 750, so I should have a totally easy time finding a house. It still is going to matter that your realtor and everybody's being diligent, is watching that market, is watching what's coming, knows as soon as something comes on the market so that you can be in there and take a peek at it.
Perfect. Exactly. That's why we're going to keep talking about these numbers every couple of weeks. We want you guys to know, we want you to see what is going on in our market so that when you're out there buying, selling, when you're considering this stuff, you're seeing the same things that we're seeing. And you're seeing the numbers as they're evolving. So, here's a great point. As they're evolving, give me 1 second. Let me share another screen here that I think would help. Hopefully nobody lost me. Let's do this. So this is from a buddy of mine who does these housing reports. Olivia, I'm going to hide you real quick. They're going to lose you. We'll do this. Oh, no, we want that. There we go. So you'll see here this graph. You'll see an orange line on the graph here. Nice little arc. It's from January 1 to December 30th, year over year. So the orange line is 2019. And you'll see the pending sales are the blue line. If you look at the blue line, when we took off beginning of this year, the pending sales were 500 to almost 1,000 sales. Now that's not the pricing, that's just the amount of sales. It was 500 to 1,000 higher than the pending sales from the previous year. That means 2020, before the pandemic, was taking off to be a record-breaking year. It was going to beat 2019, very dramatically going to beat it. Then you'll see a drop in the blue line here. I'll see if I can blow this up and zoom in a little bit more for everybody to see. Can be difficult. Maybe I can just do this. There you go, nice and big. But this blue line that you can see, it took a dip starting in March, and it's coming right back up. And from the projections that we're getting, this is what we see currently. Like, this is as of just a day ago. It looks like the pendings dropped off, but what happened is a lot of homes came off the market. People backed off from purchasing homes. Homes came off the market. Everybody got a little bit scared, but our market was still performing well. The amount of homes that went under contract dropped, but so did the amount of interest in homes. So supply and demand was about the same, but we see it coming right back up now that people are back out there. And honestly, these pending sales, a lot of them were right in the middle of the pandemic. And they're making their way back up here at the beginning of May before the state even opened back up. So you can see that some people immediately retracted and got a little bit concerned, and now that things are playing out and they feel a little bit more confident to get out there, and we've basically adjusted to the way things are going to go for the foreseeable future and how to show homes and see them, they're going pending again. So that shows us that the demand is still there, essentially. So these are things that, if your agent isn't showing you this, give us a call, let us know. These are things that you should be discussing with your agent. These are things that you should be aware of when you're making offers on homes. And that's why these stats are important. It's, hey, here's where we've been. And these are trailing, by the way, guys. It's going to be interesting to see how these numbers play out over the next couple of weeks and months and towards the end of the year. You're going to see a delayed response. These are, kind of lagging market indicators of what's going on. The leading market indicators are always going to be jobs. The demand still there? Some of us are talking that we think the first-time homebuyer market might take a hit because of the jobs that are being lost. That tends to be in the first-time homebuyer price point. So there's a chance that leases are going to increase, and the leasing pricing is going to increase because of the demand there. So we're going to be watching that stuff to see, is that really the case?
Absolutely.
That happens. Yeah. Good. So wait, today's a deadline. What's going on today?
This is a subject that is near and dear to my
heart. Why?
Taxes. Property taxes.
That's great. Okay.
I am not a fan. And so every year we protest our property taxes, and you should too.
Yes.
You should too. Because essentially it's your county telling you how much your home should be taxed at. It doesn't have anything to do. They're not looking at the market. They're just saying, oh, homestead exemption. Let's raise it up the percent that we can. so that we
Yeah.
can get those tax dollars in. And a lot of times people will throw those notices out and just say, "Oh, it's such a big pain." Well, got to save yourself some money. People, protest your taxes. It's a
Yeah.
deadline today, May 15th.
Okay, but what if I have a company that I want to file the tax protest for me? What do I do?
So
Like if today's the
that's
deadline.
great. You can do one of two things. You can call them and say, "Hey, I'm going to engage your services. Please file my protest." Or
Okay.
you can also just do it yourself. So, and what I mean is basically put a bookmark in there and say, "I'm going to protest," whether it be yourself or the company.
Okay.
And so it took me, I did it yesterday, one day before the deadline. I'll note. I did it yesterday and it took me about 5 minutes. I pulled up the Travis County tax district. It's called
Okay.
traviscad.org / protest. And I put my address in, it pulled me up and I said, file protest. And now at this time, like I said, it's just a bookmark. You don't have to have all of the exhibits and all of that kind of stuff. You don't have to have any of that to put into the protest right this moment.
Okay. Well, what if the value that they're taxing me at is, what I think my home is worth? I think I could sell it for that.
I always have to laugh at this because we all want the the highest dollar when we sell our house, right?
Yeah.
And we're going to say, and it has this amazing kitchen and it's so gorgeous and it's wonderful. And then we go to the Travis County or Williamson County or whatever county you live in. You say, "Oh no, my house is terrible. It's so bad. You don't want to live here. It should be condemned. You should tax me for $15.
That's great.
And so I always laugh with folks who are protesting their taxes because you want to point out all the bad stuff. And even if you think that what they're saying is fair, protest them anyway.
Yeah.
Protest them anyway.
I love how they use the verbiage market value on your tax forms. That's the taxable market value. They're using that phrase market value because they want you to feel exactly what you just explained. My home is worth $1 million. So yes, tax me at $1 million. I'm thankful for the taxes. It funds our state, and I don't want a state income tax, and it provides a lot. We've got great roads and good schools, and it provides for a lot of things around us. However, at the same point, that doesn't mean I want you to tax me at 600 because my neighbor sold for that. And what you don't know is my neighbor spent $50,000 on the inside of their home to do that. I don't have a $600,000 house. I've got a $500,000 house. So just because my neighbor sold for a certain price doesn't mean mine is worth it as well.
And also you have to tell them the things that they may not inherently know. They were comparing my house last year to a house that was a block and a half away, which seems like it would be fine. However, that house doesn't have another house across from it. There's a creek there.
Yeah,
and so that's worth more money to me. A really pretty creek, great.
Yeah.
But that's not what my house is. And so it's up to us to tell them ourselves or hire somebody to tell them exactly what's going on in your neck of the woods.
And they did a similar thing to me. They compared mine to several homes in my neighborhood that had 3-car garages, larger lots. It's like, hey, there's a reason those homes are more expensive. Somebody posted, what if property went up but improvements went down? Exactly. That's a great reason. Thanks, Kristen, for posting that. That is a great reason to go in and protest and at least go in and at least attempt to get some reduced value from the county. And the fact that, I'm not throwing a ton of money into my home to make it more and more expensive. I've just lived in it another year.
Right.
Just to increase my value year over year because the market's going up isn't necessarily fair. So let's talk about this. And
right.
In some cases, I've heard that protesting the fact that you haven't made any improvements or things have deteriorated doesn't necessarily work. Okay, I understand that, but at least protest and find out if it does. Go in and talk to the county and say, look, you're comparing me to a home that has all of these improvements that I don't have. So that market value is off. And even if they give you a few thousand, that saves you a few $100s for the year. That is a great thing to do, because over time,
Well,
as you're protesting, you're keeping that value down. You're paying less and less taxes year over year than your neighbors who aren't protesting at all.
exactly. And I know at least the way it works in Travis County is when I e-filed my protest.
Yep.
Again, like I said, that's going to put a bookmark in right there, put a pin in it, and say, we need to talk about this. They're going to try to do an informal. They're going to negotiate with me in that e-filing. They're going to propose a lowered, usually,
Yep.
tax rate just right off the bat. So if I decide, you know what, I don't want to really fight it. I don't want to have to go in to the county and get all my stuff together, and I don't want to hire a company, maybe I'm okay with that lowered. Sometimes it's not very much, but like you're saying, it'll still save you $100 or,
Something.
maybe more over the course of the year. So,
And I've seen homes that have had tax values dramatically lower than the market value when I've been on the listing side and the buying side of that, and come to find out those people protested their taxes every year and they kept that value down. Yeah. So that's phenomenal. You just got to do it. So somebody else made a comment about the in-person process not currently being available because of the COVID-19 situation. Give me 1 second, trying to pull this up. I don't know a ton about that.
And also what I do know about that is that it lags behind as well. So
yep.
you file your protest today. They're going to try and informally negotiate with you online. You may not even have the opportunity in a regular year to in-person protest for months. I think that I went in June or July. Yep. And also, I'll post a great article. The Dallas Morning News. There's a reporter who has lots of really great information about it. I actually used that as my guide last year when I protested my taxes myself, and he updated it for 2020. So I'll post that.
Yeah,
I'll put the link in the comments here.
Yeah, let's do that. I have the company that does our tax protests. They didn't even call me. They just sent me authorization docs via email, and I kept trying to get a hold of them to make sure that it wasn't a scam. But because of COVID-19, they were like, no, just sign this authorization doc. We're handling everything electronically this year. So yes, in person is likely not possible in your county. However, don't let that stop you either. Just protest online. Just keep pushing, even when they tell you no. Just keep pushing until you get something. Is my overall and generalization. Just keep pushing until you get something from them. Yeah,
absolutely. Good. And contact your friendly realtor at the OT group if you are wondering what the house across the street sold for. You may have seen it on Zillow, but that doesn't guarantee that it sold for that. Maybe it sold above, maybe it sold below. Just be armed with that information.
Yep, that's right. That's right. Last thing, we're going to end on a positive note. We're giving away even more. Here we go. The June Raffle. It's going to be Father's Day, so this is going to be a little bit of a Father's Day theme. We are giving away a $100 gift card towards detailing or a car wash. And the way to do that is to like us on Facebook, follow us on Facebook, and submit
but you should be doing
your dream
anyway.
card.
Follow us on Facebook.
I love that. You should be doing it anyways. That's great. So you got to like us and follow us, and then you have to submit your dream car to us, and then we'll pick a winner. Yeah, and I loved Olivia's idea. It was either classic car, dream car, muscle car, but I like the idea of just your dream car. So submit.
I said I don't know anything about old cars or classic cars or what makes them awesome, but I like new cars.
So, what is your dream car? What would you get right now if you could? Money's not an object.
I like cars that go fast. I like to get where I am going. So I would want probably an M-Class BMW. I like to go
M3, M5. What, you want the bigger one? What are we talking about?
If money's no object, let's get it on up there.
Okay.
We'll do the M5.
Okay. All right. All right. There you go. I'll take the Koenigsegg 1-1, and I'll see you in my rearview mirror. You can keep the M stuff.
See, I don't even know those words that he just said. I don't know what that means.
It's a carbon fiber car that looks like a race car.
Don't talk to Olivia. I like to get where I'm going. I like to get there fast. That's all.
Or the Porsche 918. I'll take that too. Yeah.
Okay, I know what that
Don't twist my arm. Yeah, that's a great one. That's a great one. Well, hey folks, that's all we've got. You know where to find us. The Ott Group at Keller Williams on Facebook. theottgroup.com. You can email us at info@theottgroup, and you can call us at 512-222-6881. Still love to hear your feedback and your comments about the videos, things that you want to discuss, stuff that you want to hear from us, including, is there another time that we should do these videos that, you can join us and give us some more feedback. So that's it. We're going to sign off for now. Glad you guys got to meet Olivia, and you're likely going to see her in the future because she did a great job. I think Teresa and I are going to take a break and let Olivia and somebody else take over.
I don't know about that. They do a great job too. I love watching. And if you watch this later, still leave a comment. We'll respond to you anytime.
Yeah, that's true. And we've got several new listings coming on the market in the coming weeks. Georgetown, North Austin, possibly one in Westlake. So keep watching, like us on Facebook again, follow us there, and get the latest market updates and listings that are coming available here soon. All right.
And we're here for you all the time, if you're not buying or selling, we're still here. Call us.
That's right. Call Olivia, not me. Call Olivia. All right. See you later.
Take care. Be safe.
Have a good weekend.
Bye.